Another Christmas shirt. This one is Sora from Kingdom Hearts, and it's him in his Halloween slash Christmas town attire because those two worlds are connected in the Halloween town area. So, and also last night my mom and I watched Nightmare Before Christmas with my nieces and nephew. Time to talk about Uta again. Well, time to talk about two of her songs again. So this is another one of the, Uta songs breakdown that I'm doing. This one is about Backlight and Fleeting Lullaby, which are her third and fourth songs in the movie. The music videos are up, and I'm going to be using screen caps from a lot of them. Also, links will be in the description down below for where to find the music videos for these, or the official music videos for these, including the English one for Backlight by AmaLee. Again, I'm hoping she does all of them, but I'm not going to be surprised if they don't have her do all of them. I really hope they do, but we'll see what happens with that. First off, the collab that was done for Backlight, which when I first saw it, I thought it said Blacklight, like revealing like under a black light all the bad things type of a thing. The things that are invisible on the surface. Not quite, although that would have been an interesting song. I'm sure there's a song called Blacklight somewhere out there. I just don't know what it is. Or who sings it or anything like that. The song is done by Otto in collaboration with Vondi. I don't know who that is. Again, as I stated before, with New Genesis and with I'm Invincible and with a lot of the other songs, I'm sure that Oda had a bit of an input on a lot of these. He probably had to give like the final okay on the song to make sure that it was good, may have given them some suggestions for for what to do with the, suggestions for what to do for some of the lyrics here and there or something like that, or maybe some of the images in the music video. As I stated before, again, this is going to be going through kind of like what the lyrics kind of bring forth in my mind for like an image that they bring, but then also going through the different music videos and just kind of seeing like the imagery that they use in the music videos. And then like seeing how that might equate to something either in One Piece itself or within the, just within Film Red also. Now, Backlight is kind of where Uta's anger is kind of coming out. New Genesis and I'm Invincible are very much about like how happy she is, how much she wants to protect the world, provide for people. Backlight and then Into Fleeting Lullaby are the two that more show Backlight shows her anger coming to the surface. Her anger, to a degree, at her father, because there are some lines in here that definitely are a reference to Shanks. And in other cases, also anger at just like the pirates in general for how they treat people around the world, and the majority of pirates and stuff like that, like Big Mom's crew and the Jellyfish Pirates and Kaido's crew and Blackbeard and stuff like that. Again, in the audience's mind's eye, Shanks and his crew are like probably, hopefully, good guys. But again, Shanks has enemies. Look at Eustace Kid, just right off the bat. He does not like Shanks. Blackbeard does not like Shanks. Shanks does not like Blackbeard, so the feeling is mutual. So there's that. And, this is, Uta's anger coming out also during Backlight in the movie. When she sings Backlight, this is also when she starts kind of fighting against the Straw Hats. Like, Luffy has said, oh no, you guys can stay here and like enjoy the concert. I'm going to go back to the ship and everything. Because like Uta kept very hard pressing him to like give up being a pirate. And he's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm going to go hang out on the ship. Coincidentally, the ship is technically not there. Sunny has been turned into cute, adorable, fleshy version of the Sunny. Which is probably going to be a major seller along with the Chibi Beppo and the Chibi, Blue and O. So, one of the other things is, of course, this is when Uta starts getting very angry at Luffy, and she uses her, turn them into a song. She like pins all the Straw Hats up on like musical notes, as musical notes on like sheet music type setup and like music bars. And then Luffy also ends up getting like quote unquote rescued by, like, Bartolomeo and then Law getting them out of there. So there's some of that. That's kind of where that takes place in the movie for context of the movie. And just like the first verse alone of the song kind of, has some images that come to mind. First of all, in the music video itself, for the first verse of the song, parts of this, we see Uta sitting on a throne. It's clearly supposed to be a throne, or at least a very fancy chair. And there's various swords that have been stabbed into the ground in front of her. Now, within the context of One Piece, I would assume this is clearly a reference to the empty throne that sits in Marie Joie on, where the red line and the Grand Line, fully meet and everything that represents, this is the center of the world. The empty throne that shows that there is no king in this, no true one king in this world, is ruled by the Gorosei. Blatant lie. blatant lie. So blatant of a lie. And the swords are the representation of when it comes to the empty throne, all these swords, the 20 swords that are up at the top of the layers of all the swords near the throne. Those 20 are from the original 20 kings that founded the world government. And then, of course, down the line, as other countries join the world government and stuff like that, their king, or when they got like a new ruling family, had to pledge fealty to this type of a thing, which we see Stelly have to do at Reverie. So that's kind of where we get that introduction. And of course, as the audience, we're looking at this throne going, someone's going to sit on that throne. It's a lie. And we're right. And of course, that's where we get introduced to Im-sama later on, with Im-sama, and the Gorosei and everything. Also, and I did not point this out when I was talking about I'm Invincible and Uta as her warrior armor. The crown that she has in her armor is very similar to kind of the crown that we see Im wearing. Now, I highly doubt that Uta knows who Im is. Shanks may know that Im exists, but considering he hasn't had contact with Uta for like 12 years, and he may not have come across that information until much more recently, I don't think that Uta knows that Im exists. So I think it's just like a surprise or like coincidence that she has a crown that's very similar to that. Also, the lines are, "My memory's so good and awful, it seems they gave me a grudge." Twofold here. One is like the memory of the world against like what the Celestial Dragons have done. Two, it's Uta's kind of memories against Shanks and the fact that he abandoned her. Even though by technicality at this point she is aware of the fact that she was the one that summoned Top Musica when she was a child. So I will be going into that with like her grief and guilt that comes with that. Also at one point we see, but I've left bitterness and resentment behind, and it's all thanks to him. And I kind of see like a twofold here. One, it lands on a pirate hat, first of all. And I kind of look at that as, okay, that's either a reference to Shanks or Roger, probably both. Shanks in regards to, she does finally want to see her father again. Roger in regards to the fact that he's the one that started the Great Pirate Era, and that has like set forth all of these other things in motion that have led to, hopefully the world getting better. I'm not going to go through these line by line, obviously, but there's several other ones where we see, look, it's the clowns who think they know how crushing loneliness can be. You know nothing till you come with me. And just, Uta's been isolated on the island for years. Uta's been isolated on the island for years with just Gordon there with her. Also, so she's just been isolated and alone and everything. Not that Gordon probably wasn't at least somewhat good company, but he's not her father. He's not her friend that's Luffy. He's not this person that she's known for a long time. It's technically she's left with a stranger at the time. But the other side of that is we see this image, the images of her getting like a cannon firing at her, as in like this pain that she's felt. And then of course we get into the chorus of the song, and run wild, release your rage, let the winds of wrath blow them away. releasing your rage. I just like her anger at the world and at Shanks and everything like that. Against Shanks for abandoning her, against Gordon to a degree for lying to her about the fact that, Shanks summoned Top Musica, but it wasn't actually him, it was her, and lying to her for that time. Anger at, the pirates in general for all the harm they've caused. Angry at the Marines for not actually like doing their jobs in certain cases. Angry at the Celestial Dragons and the world government for the fact that they allow certain things to happen and stuff. So there's all that rage there and everything. And that's just, as I stated, I kind of look at parts of these songs as like, well, they're like a representation, obviously, of how Uta is feeling, but also they are possibly representation, not necessarily 100% foreshadowing, but, representations of things that have happened or may happen in the series. And then like the winds of wrath that blow them away. I don't know, Dragon's Wind Devil Fruit or Storm Devil Fruit, whatever you want to go with that. I don't know. That's the image that popped into my head. And then not going to live in compliance, science. I just look at that blatantly as like, as an anthem of like just, people done putting up with like the Celestial Dragons BS. And again, I'm not playing the victim no more. The slaves, Fisher Tiger, just them in general rebelling against the world government the way that Fisher Tiger, rebelled and climbed all the way back up the Red Line and like freed so many slaves, including the Boa sisters and including a whole bunch of other ones, and Koala and everything. So there's that, just, these, rebelling against the Celestial Dragons and everything for all the pain they've caused. And then there's Time to Go Rage. Let's punish them all. Revolution, obviously. For their love. I kind of, in italics is where I would want to put that, but it's not in italics. Punish them. We're going to punish them all for their love. I kind of look at this as like a direct, I see it as like a reference to the Gorosei, where the fact that like, well, the Gorosei and the Celestial Dragons in general, because, so much of what the Celestial Dragons is built on is that, oh, well, our ancestors, founded the world, our 19 ancestors founded the world government, 800 years ago and everything, 800 years ago, whatever it was. And you have this wonderful world that you live in, with the Marines and everything, thanks to our gratitude, thanks to our kindness and everything into, wanting to allow all of you to be protected and everything, and the least you can do is pay your heavenly tribute and, have a huge amount of poverty in your country and everything like that. And, give us whatever we want and give us slaves and everything like that. And, part of what they say, like when the Empty Throne is introduced, is that, the Gorosei are the ones that are actually in charge, it's these 5 wise men and everything that kind of like lead the World Government Council. When in actuality, it's Im Sama that's technically the one in control to a degree, even though only the Gorosei and a select few other people are aware of this. But the other thing is, we outright see the Gorosei talking about genocide. We know that the Gorosei allowed what happened on, Ohara 22 years ago. We know all of that. We know that the Gorosei were probably perfectly fine with what happened in with what happened in, not Elysia, the Lucia Kingdom. That they were fine with that. That they allow the Celestial Dragons to do what they do, that they don't rein them in, that they don't stop them from getting slaves. And it's like, they show their love by allowing certain things, but in actuality, no, that's not love. That's an extremely abusive relationship. Done trying to trust, not going to play the game, gonna play the game backlit by the flames. Flames have always been a big reference in One Piece. You got Ace with his fire fruit. There's so many other heat-based devil fruits. The fire that happened in the Great Terminal. Fisher Tiger basically trying to burn down parts of Marijois and everything to free the slaves. Luffy has various fire attacks going into the Sun God Nika reference there. So there's a lot there with fire and everything. And then of course we just have one that's just basically, and then, you know, several verses about the color red. It's like, by the end, everything turned to red. It was so brutal, yet so beautiful. We see this image of Uta, like, tied up, like, all these, like, the, like, red strings of fate, to a degree, like, all wrapped around her and everything. You know, her guilt, her grief, her loneliness, and a kind of red pulling you in. You won't, and you won't look, and you won't, and, and a kind of red pulls you in and won't let you look away. Red in general, the color red, film red, red-haired Shanks. Luffy wears a red vest a lot of the time in the series. Take your pick. Lots of references there. You know, scarlet, crimson, lit up from behind, so bright it'll make you go blind. It goes into, like, hypnotizing and, like, an allure and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't think Shanks is hypnotizing anybody. So I don't know where to put that. And then we have, my heart got tangled up bad and now it's frayed. Again, it's just the image of, like, this heart tangled up and all the red threads and everything. No matter how much I've learned, I understand by my anger is here to stay. And it's just, she's still angry at the world, at Shanks, at herself and everything. She hasn't let go of that anger. And now she's expressing it. Again, going to the chorus again. And then I just kind of see, like, at one point there's, when there's, like, time to go rage, there's, like, it looks like a sun coming out, or like a light coming out. I just kind of looked, I just thought, sun god Nika. It's a little bit similar to how some of that imagery comes in there. And then again, like, kind of gonna play with fire, backlit by the flames again. And then, like, I had the image of, like, Toki giving her prophecy about, you know, you are the night unaware of the dawn and everything, with going into that. With the fact that, you know, there's, like, something on fire behind her when she's giving that prophecy and everything. You know, so there's that. Again, it just goes into more stuff. The next verse goes a little bit more darker. You know, though my anger exhausts me and I fall apart, my actions may cost me, but I won't let go of the past. I refuse to move on. You know, my actions may cost me. You know, that is literally, like, she is willing to take so much of the world's population into her dream world, use the wake mushrooms, the wake shrooms, whatever, to the point where she will die from exhaustion, and then basically take all of them with her. And there's the whole question of, are they just going to be trapped in the virtual world? Or is it just going to be like they just stop existing entirely? Just a decent question. But again, you know, grief and everything like that she's going through, she won't forgive herself. And then, of course, it goes to, I know if you won't listen, I know if you would listen, you would understand. It's time to enter my bad dream. Dreamland you made for me. Or, time to enter my bad dreamland you made for me and suffer like I have. Again, I'm pretty sure this is a blatant reference to Shanks and everything. But I also see, because she starts to look a little bit more crazy at this point in the music video, a little bit. And I just kind of see it just like, you know, suffer like I have. She wants to, you know, she does end up summoning Top Musica, of course, later on in the movie. And, of course, ends up causing a lot of problems in that regard. It gets resolved, of course, by the Straw Hats and Shanks and their various allies at the time, but still. There's not too much in there, but the last part of the last verse has lots of images of, like, cannons going off and Uta with her wings out and everything, and, you know, backlit by the flames and everything. So it's just, like, lots of those images that go into that. Also, the music video is beautifully done. I love these. Most of these music videos are just beautifully done anyway. And Top Musica, that'll be like the next video that I talk about. That one's a pretty trippy one. On various fronts. But next up we have Fleeting Lullaby. This was done with auto with fake type. That is literally what it's called. or literally the name of the band, or the collaboration. This one, for context within the movie, this takes place after we have that it's revealed that she's, she has like this dream world where everybody is, and then she has like the real world where everybody's asleep at the concert. And this is when, the Marines show up, the Fujitora and, Kizaru and like a bunch of the other ones show up and everything. Which admittedly, by a technicality, what they should have done is just like, yeah, send certain ones to deal with her, but then also just have like a whole bunch of them coming in and like trying to get the civilians to safety or something like that. That seems like Fujitora's MO. I don't know, have several of them start arresting various pirates or whatever. It's like, you got Luffy there, you got a bunch of his crew, just put sea stone handcuffs on them. I mean, not that I want them to, but that would have been a smart move. But I guess neutralizing Uta was the priority in that regard. But Fleeting Lullaby is a song that Uta starts singing when she's trying to deal with the Marines. And, they had put on these like noise-canceling headphones and stuff like that. So that way they can't hear her voice when she starts singing, because that's how the devil fruit activates when she starts singing. Or she can activate her devil fruit when she starts singing. It's a choice. So she basically ends up having the audience members that are asleep, but she can manipulate them. She has them like pull the headphones off of the Marines, so then the Marines fall asleep. And then, of course, Fujitora is very unlikely to want to hurt civilians, let alone his own men, because he sees them as, they're not the threat right now. He just wants to neutralize them, but not hurt them. So going into that. Going into the lyrics and the images that come into the song, this one's actually pretty trippy as well, in regards to certain things that you see in the video, in regards to there's like this evil, dark version of Uta that's running around and like chasing the real Uta. This one, I'm sick and tired of being alone. Duh. There's also a black cat that's like following her around, or that she's like chasing the black cat and I guess trying to befriend it. I don't know. I don't know what the black cat's supposed to represent. I couldn't come up with anything. I'm like, the closest thing we have in One Piece to a character that turns into a black cat, as far as I'm aware, is Lucci. And he's not in this, well, he is in this movie, but he's what the Goro say. So he's not really a part of this at the time. And even then, the other black cat reference is like Kuro, but he's probably still in the East Blue. So we don't know. We have no idea about that. So I couldn't come up with a reference for what the black cat looked like, but I thought maybe, Fleeting Lullaby, maybe the whole concept part of it has to do with the fact that she's been, strung out on the mushrooms for a couple of days now at this point in time. And maybe the cat is like a reference to like sleep, and she's been chasing sleep, but she can't quite catch it because of the mushrooms and everything like that, and that's just affecting her mental state. That was the closest thing I could come up with for the dang cat. So yeah, we see her like chasing the cat and like trying to befriend the cat, but it keeps trying to scratch her or like claw at her or whatever. And then we have some lines that are listen, baby, making you happy whether you like it or not. Again, she doesn't really give a choice to the concert goers about what she's going to do with her devil fruit to put everybody to sleep and put them into the Uta world. Reality is overrated. The Uta, I kind of put that as like, I think Oda even stated in some of the notes about Uta, about her life, that she doesn't quite see the difference between she does see a difference between like death and then like her going into her virtual world and being stuck there. She sees a difference there, but by a technicality, it's technically not really a difference, because if she dies, then it's like, does everybody just remain trapped there and they can never leave? Is that where their souls, their minds remain trapped there, or do they just die as well? And it's hinted that they just die as well if Uta dies. As we go into that, and then we have you're not gonna outthink me. I thought of everything, which is where this dark version of Uta comes into play. And then this dark version of Uta like chases the real Uta around the music video for pretty much the rest of the music video. And of course, the reference of like, you're not gonna outthink me is also like, Uta thought about this plan a fair amount. Admittedly, I don't think part of the decision she was in her right mind to make, but she, it's a plan she thought of. I mean, like, okay, she's affecting a large population of the world. She's planned a lot of this out. She's got the wake streams. So she's actually planning it out fairly well in certain cases. And then there's My Good Boys and Girls, which there's not really too much with that one, but like they flash back and forth between like the good Uta and the bad Uta, or the dark Uta. I just wanted to point that out there. And then we have You Think You're So Tough. Well, I had enough of it. And this is just Uta running away from the dark version. And then there's part of the last line in that verse is get on stage, let's go. I do kind of look at this as, because like as I stated before in other videos about Uta, she's gotten all these messages from the people who have listened to her songs and everything, and listened to them over the Denzen Mushi and everything. And she's basically, she feels like she needs to perform in order to keep them happy. She needs to keep giving them this type of entertainment. She feels like that is her duty, her job, but she doesn't necessarily have a choice. Kind of a forcing of like a savior complex onto her. And by technicality, she's embracing it, but she's kind of taking it in the wrong direction with her plans. I know there's just some other like really good parts of the music video that are just like fun things that are, or not fun things, but like really cool images that you get out of it, like the dark Uta dancing and everything like that. That's kind of fun. And then we have this moment where it's just like, everything exactly how you want it. This is a utopia. And we see multiple dark Utas show up, because there's only like one quote-unquote real Uta, and then there's all these like dark versions of Uta. And those dark ones show up and they keep chasing her and everything. This is a utopia. It's not a utopia. That, by technicality, what Uta is making kind of looks like a utopia, but it's not. And then it's a miracle of mercy. You can't stop it if you try. Again, it's like not giving the Straw Hats a choice. She's like trying to force, Shank, or the Straw Hats and the Marines and the red-haired pirates, like they don't really have a choice. They have to try to stop her. But they can't really stop her plans without either A, killing her, which of course Shanks will not allow, Luffy would not allow anyone to kill Uta. And also, they don't want to remain trapped in the dream world, so they need to find a way to make Uta fall asleep or force her to release them. And then there's just an image of like Uta falling with like, I want to know how to give what you want, which, she doesn't know. People have told her so much about what they want, with like they want her to sing more and everything like that, but she doesn't 100% know exactly how to make everybody happy. And then there's Stay With Me or I'll Freak Out, which, again, twofold. Uta has been alone for so long with just Gordon around her, with so much thought that like her father didn't want her, the crew didn't want her, this family she had did not want her. She's wrong, because it was a lie that she was told, but she that's what she thought for like 11 years until she learned the truth. And then from there it goes into you can't leave me, as in like I'm not letting anybody leave here. It goes into that, and there's like these multiple dark Uta and then like the one real Uta, and then like they continue to chase her all throughout the rest of the music video. They're like chasing her one way or the other. And then it's, wouldn't you rather be floating up high to your cares saying bye? Again, it's but I can offer you this world where everything is provided for you, where you don't have to suffer anymore. And why won't you agree? I'm just trying to help you, type of thing. And again, it's like we see the crowd kind of go against her when they find out about this, and they're explaining, well, yes, staying here is nice and listening to you is nice, but we can't just stay here. We have other responsibilities, and we actually, like, the boy that wants to take care of his sheep, or the other people, of course, want to go back to their families and everything like that. So there's that. And then, of course, there's just multiple images of, like, the dark Uta and the dark other Utas, like, chasing Uta around. And again, like, there's, like, a line that's like, please don't go. Again, kind of begging not to be left alone again. So that's just kind of where I put that a lot. Again, with being chased around by all the different evil or the dark Utas and everything, which I think are like, in my opinion, they're like this manifestation of like all these dark thoughts that she has about herself, about her powers, about, you know, just other things in general, and that's just what they're manifesting as. Um, and then there's Salvation's got to come, this generation's done. Which I see this as a reference back to Shanks at the end of Wano, when he, like, you know, shows up and scares the bejeebus out of scares the bejeebus out of Aramaki or Ryukogu. Just scares the crap out of him. And it's just like, you know, why won't you just let this next generation come? Why are you so afraid of this generation? You know, the fall of the old Yonko. Which I think Whitebeard, if, you know, Whitebeard, I mean, like, yeah, he probably wanted, if Whitebeard was still around with, like, as his whole crew and everything like that, if that was the case, I think he would be okay with, you know, letting Luffy find the One Piece, but he'd probably want to, like, test Luffy's resolve and stuff like that, like, test his crew's resolve. Kind of the way that we kind of think that, like, you know, Shanks and the rest of his crew are probably going to want to, like, test Luffy and his crew to see how much stronger they've gotten. You know, to see where they are, to test their resolve and stuff like that. You know, Big Mom, Kaido, Blackbeard, they're straight up enemies in these regards. But the others, you know, Shanks is hopefully going to be an ally, pretty much, hopefully going to be an ally. Whitebeard probably would have been an ally. He was an ally at, you know, Marineford and everything to Luffy in that regard. But still, and then Buggy is Buggy. Buggy is Buggy. We're gonna leave Buggy out of this conversation. And then there's kind of the final verse is, you know, blow your mind with my bass drumming to burst your eardrums. And there's just other ones where it's just like more just, you know, fun lyrics of like, this would be like a fun song to dance to at a club is kind of where some of it goes. Like there's one that was just like, you know, we're gonna, you know, I'm gonna drop the, you know, I don't know if there's like drop the bass is actually in there, but there's like something that sounds like that, like a needle drop moment, stuff like that. And like parts of the last verse are just like both Utas singing together, and then also like I don't know, like in a rap battle or something like that, like having a sing off. And then the other parts of it also show like Uta and like on like top of this tower of like, well, it kind of looks like a layered cake, but like layered tower that she's standing on with like all the dark Uta around her and everything. And you know, stop messing with us, you know, or you know, banish every gaslight, let clarity shine. Again, gaslight is more a term that's coming to, you know, play about just like messing with someone and everything like that. You know, stop messing with us, you know, to the world government and stuff like that. You know, got to clear up this brainwash. Don't let them tell you lies. Heads up. I just kind of see this as like, stop taking everything that the world government says at face value. Stop thinking that all the Marines are good and all the pirates are bad. To the world in general. Stop just following blindly, you know, the world government and the celestial dragons and everything like that type of a thing. And then it goes into, let my song clear your senses. All you really need is my true voice. And like at the end of the song, it kind of like clears out. It's down to just the one Uta, the real Uta. And I think it's like her banishing away like the dark thoughts, the bad Uta. And in that regard, you know, it like ends with just Uta, as I said. And I look at this as, you know, at the end of the movie, Uta makes the right decision. She uses her true voice comes shining through at the end when she chooses to, you know, sing the world's continuation and let everybody out of the dream world, out of the song world and everything, let them go and let them all wake up and everything. She makes the choice, the correct choice, and her true voice, her true self shines through in that regard. Not this one with all this anger, not this one with all this depression, this one that has had this version of Uta that has had this chance to heal a bit. She's had a chance to heal with her, you know, with some of the past with Luffy, with Shanks and everything like that, like actually having this conversation with him and everything, and seeing everything, and seeing like everything that she'd done wrong, and like learning from it. And like it kind of applies to her fans too, because like even after, because at the end of the movie we do see that like all of them still continue to listen to her music, continue to listen to the tone dials. Whether or not Uta is like fully dead at the end of the movie is left up for debate, but you know, I don't want her to be dead. I want Uta to show back up again in the manga, in canon more. So we get some more information about her, see her again, see her and Luffy like actually interact again, but still. That was pretty much what I had for this one. As I said, the next one that'll be about the music videos will be about Top Musica, and that will be its own video, because I also have a theory that goes along with Top Musica that I'm working on, and actually stuff that Vegapunk said in 1069 also helped put into like my Top Musica theory that I have. So that's what I have. I thank you for watching. I hope you have a nice rest of your day, and happy holidays. I gotta go see a performance of the Nutcracker later with my cousin, as I think the Sugar Plum Fairy, if I remember correctly. So that's what I gotta do. Bye!